Hello, amazing, beautiful people. My goodness, how exciting is this? We are now in season 4, episode 10. It is done. I was quite taken aback when I first heard Dr. Benjamin Hardy say, winners have done lists and losers have to-do lists. Like this phrase really puzzled me. I love Ben's work. His transparency, his integrity, his honesty, his wisdom, his insight, his research. I knew he wasn't making a flippant comment. There was something I was missing, and it didn't fully make sense to me. And it also didn't really feel right. So I've always had to-do lists. I love ticking things off as I go. It made me feel like I had purpose. It's purpose in my day. It made me feel like I had proof that I was making progress. It kind of fluffed me up, put wind in my sails. I enjoyed being able to share the things that I'd achieved in my day. It gave me a sense of value and purpose. So this didn't fit with that being a loser. I was like, what am I missing? Anyway, I am a firecracker and I'm quick to take action. And so to-do lists were the vehicle that I used to use to help me feed that part of my well-being and my self-worth. However, it's like being on that treadmill because your to-do list, to-do list, to-do list, to-do list, it never ends. And I really got through my list. I always had things at the end or things that were at the beginning that I missed, and I did all the nice bits in between because it was quick and easy and it gave me a dopamine hit. Anyway, so it was a false sense of well-being. It was a false sense of achievement. And I had no idea. I just never felt like I was going anywhere. Even though I was doing all this stuff, I wasn't actually moving. It was very odd. Anyway, over the last couple of years, I have invested heavily in my faith and leadership development. And I appear to have made a great exchange without even being aware of it. How flipping cool is that? And I'm about to share it with you. We've already talked about the evening and morning routines. We did that in episode 7 and 8, and habit stacking in episode 9, which is all about creating a lifestyle of healthy choices and habits so that you can 10x your inputs. When we're clear on our identity and purpose or assignment, which is kind of what we need to be, and right now, I know that my assignment is to be his voice and to share his wisdom and the insights that have been revealed to me so that we can all win and learn and go higher together. This transcendence to being more responsive, to actually listening, to hearing, to listening to my inner voice and what's really out there, rather than being a robot doing the same things over and over and over and over again. Or, now, I just wasn't going anywhere. And now I'm led by the Holy Spirit and following Jesus, who said, it is done. And that has opened a whole new world of productivity and fun. I have a big 3, faith, family, and finance, which has been discussed in previous episodes and is in my international best-selling book, The Great Exchange. And these provide my structure in life to work with. The prophetic words that have been spoken over me over the last 7 years have dovetailed in with the work I'm doing and have given me a clear purpose. And I've actually, every time those words have been spoken, they have been just for that moment so that I know what my next assignment is. It's been amazing. So how does this equate to done lists, I hear you say? Well, the reality is that things I used to write down as my to-do list to make me feel good now just get done. And there's habits that are scheduled into my day. Might be coaching clients. It could be, like we talked about before with habits, water. I don't write down, I drank a glass of water today. I used to, but I don't anymore because they get done anyway. They become part of my lifestyle choice. I don't have to write, I walk the dog twice a day to make myself feel better. Because actually all of that is already intrinsically there, which is amazing. What I've learned is where I really want to tick something off, it's in my big 3, because that's where the real gold is. The important before urgent. It's getting up early in the morning, before everyone's awake, before the day starts, and cracking them out before we have to get into our day. The 5 a.m. Club book by Robin Sharma also supports that winners get up at 5 a.m. and get the big stuff done before 8 a.m. Jim Collins, with his book Good to Great, states that if you've got more than 3 priorities, massive to-do list, you have none. Or, as Dr. Benjamin Hardy would say, you are then in the thick of thin things because you're trying to be all things to everyone. I was like that, trying to prove my worth. So I now have 1 to 3 things every day that will move my dial forward with these done lists. And if I get these done, my life will drastically change in the future. It was this system that helped me write an international best-selling book from scratch, working each day at 6 a.m., chipping away at a chapter at a time, chipping away at the editing, chipping away at the publishing. It is this system that I'm now using to record the book, learning how to use the tech. Oh my goodness, set up the studio so the sound sounds right. It's nuts. I literally got a teepee and blankets. You've never seen anything quite like it. Anyway, I'm working my way through chapter by chapter. I'm learning, I'm winning, I'm growing. And each chapter becomes a done step towards the end goal. And some of my 1 to 3 items are planned or focused session because I need to just make sure actually it's not done before 8 o'clock because I need to actually give it like a chunk of time. So this week, my chunk of time was to make sure all the show notes were done for the radio broadcast for all the recordings we've done to date. There were numerous steps from learning how to transcribe stuff to learning how to get a summary done to putting it in the right spaces at the right time and the formatting and where are all the links for everyone because we talked about a link for this and a link for that. My goodness, it was like this. It was like, trying to get it done. But you know what? I just had to do that one thing. And so even though it was like, I was determined to just do that one thing that day. That was my one thing. So all I had to do that day was get that done. And by golly, that sense of achievement was amazing. My levels of authority, confidence, true identity, and integrity have gone through the roof since I focused on my 1 to 3 and getting it done, having a I've done that today list, which focuses on the small hinges that will open big doors. So they're those importance before urgent. Do you know that this system was first used by former President Eisenhower, which was actually called the Eisenhower Principle, and it's how he prioritized his tasks. And then later, Dr. Stephen Covey, of who I'm sure many of you are aware of in 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, used the same system, this important before urgent, sitting in quadrant 2. Not quadrant 1, 3, or 4, but sitting in that quadrant 2. This is where this stuff is. It's gold. My done lists are a far cry from Jesus on the cross, where he said, "It is done," or "It is finished." However, there are some synergies or similarities in the principles. 1, he focused on the future. He knew what was going to happen in the future rather than what was going to happen or how he was feeling in the moment. And that's what I have to do when I'm doing this. I have to be future focused. I'm looking at the bigger picture. And of course, the price I pay is not nearly as high, but I'm looking at the future rather than my comfort in the moment or whatever it might be. They also require my full attention and focus. Jesus never took his eyes off the prize. And I'm still to this day, like he looked at his mum, he looked at the people around him, and there he is, munted, literally. Father, forgive them for they know not what they do. Like his attention never came off what he was doing. And when I'm looking at these bigger picture things, I really have to give it my full attention and focus because I can easily get distracted and then not achieve it. And they're often messy. They come with challenge after challenge. He was beaten. It was revolting what happened for him. And in my, how does the tech work? It's nothing in comparison, but the principle is the same. We've got to move past the challenges that, this is untidy, this is uncomfortable. We've got to get through that and keep going. They also require a sacrifice. For me, it's often mind over mattress. It's like, I would love to stay in bed, but actually, I say that, but I feel rubbish when I have a lie in these days because I know how much I would have missed if I didn't get up. So actually getting up, getting out of bed, no more lions anymore. That's my sacrifice. But you know what? What it's producing is next level. What I'm getting out of it is far more than I'm putting in. And then number 5, they take me to places I never thought were possible. Done lists have helped me to achieve more than I ever thought. And not only, like for example, not only have I written a book, and I became a bestseller. So it took me somewhere and to a new level. That's crazy. It wasn't even on my list. Or, oh, let's have a radio show. Yeah, Phil and I'll just chat. That's what we thought would be great. And learning all the stuff about radio shows, etc. That's another level. But then the people that are writing in and letting us know, oh my goodness, that was amazing. You really transformed my thinking. My goodness, you're really changing my life. I'm really enjoying it. Like, oh, who would have known? Or having a coaching business that sets people up for success, not just in the 8 weeks they're with me, but for years to come. I just caught up with Margot 4 years after I coached her, and she shared how she's used these principles to get through some really tough times. Actually, she's not the only one. I've had a couple of people very recently come back who are, sharing their stories of how they've got through some things, some challenging times, just by using the principles and the coaching. So I encourage you today to take brave action. If this episode has touched your heart and you want to step into the 30, 60, 100-fold harvest that has been promised to you, please book a free Life by Design call and let's get you nailing your done list and being a winner today. Hey, look, team, I am so grateful that you tune in every week, that you listen to what I'm sharing and that you're interested. I can't tell you how much that means to me. I'd be even more excited if you actually put a like on there and shared a comment. Terry, bless her heart, she goes in, she makes a comment every week. Unsurprisingly, that she's sewing in, and so she is on a trajectory like this. She is in an amazing space, making, she's had miracle healing. Oh, unsurprising, because she's in and she's doing her big 3. So I love you. God bless you. Have an amazing week. And I will look forward to seeing you next week. Take care.